Going
And
on.
we are live. Good morning, good morning, good morning. You are joining us for another Christian anime podcast live stream. I'm your host, Podcast San. Strife? Strife? It's
Where to
just,
broke out. Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna. Okay, I got you. We gotta practice that some more.
yeah, yeah,
And
we're
I'm
good.
Shriferius.
You!
Hello.
All right, sorry. We shouldn't be too excited today because today we're talking about. Look, I
It's
think
actually something serious.
yeah, it's actually something serious. And it's unfortunate because my VTuber model has like just a natural propensity to smile. So that's gonna that's gonna be a problem throughout.
You can look
I'm not
really
sure if
creepy.
it'll look, I've already recorded just a really quick short video. It's gonna be super unedited on the situation as well. So we'll see. We'll see. Where I'm gonna I haven't run back the footage for that either. So if I'm smiling too much in that as well, then yeah, it's a bit over. And I'm gonna
We'll
try
kill
fix that.
him.
I'm gonna try fix it, guys. I'm gonna try fix me smiling too much. So yeah. Anyway, how are
You
you
can
doing,
tell he's
Strifurious?
evil because he's smiling. I'm doing all right. It's a
Um,
new day.
it's a new day. It's a new day. I know you've been playing a lot of Balatro.
It's a new dawn. I have been playing a lot of Balatro. I've been Balatro maxing instead of working because of reasons and distractions, and like sometimes it happens to be like that.
Yeah, I think
Fun
it's
game.
I think for me as well, whenever I do games or anything like that, I always try to um yeah, like it's a way of escape. It's a way to turn your brain off for a bit. That's I think that's why video games are so good. It's because you do that. All right. I don't
Yeah,
really
we
want to
saw Dolly Parton too.
I don't want to
Yeah,
sound
it's really a
mean,
shame.
Neblin, but who in the world is Dolly Parton? I'm
He's
so
an
sorry.
Aussie. He has no idea. One
I
of the
have no
most
idea. I have no
influential
idea.
like Southern singers and persons of all time.
Singer with
She has her
singer
own
or
theme
singer?
park.
Like, is that the hard
What
R?
what? See, the hard R. Bruh. Yeah. Have you never heard of her or
No,
you
I'm
just
so
like don't
sorry,
care?
guys. Chat. I'm very uncultured in American culture, so I've no idea who Dolly Parton is.
I was gonna say it's just absolutely insane that he just doesn't know. No, but I mean she did a little bit of everything. She's a famous country singer and then
I
she
see. I see.
did like acting and songwriting and whatever else. Just a super duper big name for the South. And so then she got her own theme park. I've actually been to Dolly Parton, the world, the theme park. It's
Ex-
fantastic.
Look,
Really, really
whenever
cool.
sorry guys, just for context, Strife sometimes tells me when he goes on holiday and goes to different theme parks, and then he tells me about different theme parks as well. I am so there is a Dolly Parton theme park somewhere in the United States that
Yes.
okay.
And why am I forgetting right now? In Tennessee. In
Okay.
Tennessee. God bless the Dixie. Yes. Indeed, indeed.
I was it's always bizarre to me because for those of you who don't know, I live in Perth, which is like the most isolated city in the world because like there's no other city within us for like a couple 100,000 miles or no, well, I don't think it's 100,000 miles, but it's thousands and
That's a lot of
thousands of miles.
miles.
Yeah, yeah. But because of that, most of the stuff has to be in Perth. So yeah, like all of the different places I visit have to be in Perth because if I want to visit, and it's not like the United States where like you can very easily cross state lines,
Hollywood
by
is very
yeah,
nice.
yeah. So the United States is like you've got a
Hollywood,
bunch of
whatever.
cities in very close proximity to each other. I think it's in the same with Europe, right? Like you can just catch the train. No such thing can happen here in Perth. So
Yeah. That's kind of funny. You have very limited geographical experience.
Yeah, yeah. I'm very inexperienced in that regard. You might have to give me, an experienced
Might have to
guy
give
like
you some
yourself, Strife.
experience.
Will have to guide me
Yeah,
as we travel to get. Sorry, I was trying to make that funny, and then I made it weird. Andrew Christian
you made
says,
that really weird for no
Andrew
reason.
Christian asks, "What's your take on race realism and how it may affect Christianity?" So, um, yeah, this is one of the things I'm definitely moving towards the side of I'm more racially conscious. Um,
He's becoming racially conscious. What
I'm
is this?
I wouldn't call myself a race realist. I would label myself as race conscious, right? Because I think we can hold the fact that we are all made in the image of God. So this is where race realism and racial consciousness as well can impact you by like this is where you get like crazy people, or it's like some people might say, oh, black people can't be saved. So that's like the extreme which we shouldn't go
Yeah, what?
towards. So I've heard that case before. There's
It's an
like this
insane statement.
there is this Nazi out there
Well,
who claims to that. Yeah.
you know
Anyway,
what's even crazier though?
what's even crazier though?
That's used to be the position of the LDS Church, if I'm not
Mm.
mistaken. The black people were like demons and that they couldn't be saved at all. And then they went
Yeah.
back on that. But the
Mm.
Mormon Church used to think black people couldn't be saved or couldn't be sanctified or something like it all.
I, Look, I do know
Clarify
as
that.
well. You get like a lot of weird positions with it. I know Kenneth Copeland believes that Satan is a black man.
It's true. If you take Kenneth Copeland's positions to be anything of note,
No, I don't. Anyway, so I think that's where it gets too far, right? Like, but that's with any other theological position as well. Like I will criticize, like, even though I am a Calvinist, right? I will criticize any Calvinist who's like, who is saying, yep, that person's predestined, that person's predestined, da 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 da. I might lean into it sometimes, but that is a problem with some Calvinisms, which is like in the 1600s as well. I'm pretty sure, or in the 1500s, there was a massive crisis there, which they experienced where Calvinists weren't going out to go out to evangelize because they believed it was all in God's. Well, they went to a bit too far by saying, yeah, if it's in God's plan, then we don't really have to go out to evangelize. So, yeah. So coming back to race realism, I think you can hold the fact that there is, like, race does matter. There are differences in race. Race leads to it's not necessarily just culture, because culture doesn't evolve in a vacuum, right? Culture will evolve in the context of the racial context that exists as well. I don't think a lot of the Christian nationalists who I'm aware of now, I think it's Dale Partridge and the other guy is Joel Webben, right? Um, is it a bad thing that they're trying to, they have a belief that we need to preserve the white race, so to say. I think that's actually, like, I don't see how that would be anything again. Like, I don't think the Bible is unequivocally like endorsing of race mixing, but I don't think the Bible is also like condemning of race mixing as well. I think we are given the Christian liberty for those of for people within God's providential will that some people may race mix, but also if there is a culture that people want to maintain their want to maintain the race of white people, or Europeans or Anglo-Saxons as well. I don't think there's anything in the Bible
interesting.
that would be unequivocally against that, right? So
Yeah. Um, Cultures are distinct, and if you want to maintain your culture and your country, that is not a bad desire.
mm,
It only crosses the line when we say stuff like those people would say, like there you can say there's predispositions, you can say there's differences between all the races, good or bad. We can grant that. That's based in reality. But when you start prejudging people or making sweeping statements like black people are not capable of being sanctified as much as white people, right? That's just
it's heresy.
where it goes down to
it's antithetical.
it's
It's
just
antithetical to the
wrong.
gospel, right? It's
And it's disgusting.
mm,
But that used to be, and yeah, like Nebulin saying, not only do they think they were the incarnation of spirits, with that, which is really weird, they thought that black skin was the curse of Cain or something,
no, it's
and
the
so
curse of
that
Ham. I think they would say
something like that.
it.
And so anyway, yeah, they traditionally did not have a high view of them at all, both Joseph Smith and Brigham Young. And then like they've never like really recounted that. They were just kind of like, oops, we were wrong.
Do
And
you
they
mean
never like,
recounted or recounted?
yeah. Is that not what I said?
Sorry, I heard you say recounted that.
Maybe I said it wrong. Whoopsies.
Sorry, my
No. I probably said it wrong. But like they never really properly apologized. They just kind of changed their views quietly when they realized that was not going to work, which I think is really funny.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think to what
Yeah.
you're saying, Neblin, as well. So I think that we should strive to preserve the diversity of the world. So yeah, I agree that. So yes, I also agree. So this is where I would differ with other Christian nationalists who would try and say that there is it's not within. So I think the way that Dale Partridge would say it is like it's not within God's overall design, like God's overall. I'm trying to think of the word that they would use, but it's not coming to me right now. But it's not within God's overall design for people to race mix, and I just don't hold that to be true. But I do believe, like I didn't get this to this in my Christian nationalism video, but I think it is a beautiful thing that there are different races, right? I think it's great that I think it's an amazing thing that we do get to travel today. And if I were to go to Japan, right, I would see Japanese people, right? I would see Japanese people doing practicing Japanese culture, in looking at the buildings and architecture and all of that makes Japan what it is, right? I think it would be really cool if in the same way that I went to Japan last year, right? And that was the coolest thing about it, right? Which is like, wow, I'm in a country surrounded by like Japanese people, right? And that's the cool part about traveling, and that's what the differences around us is actually what makes each culture special. It doesn't, and each race and each nation special as well, and what makes them all individually special as well. I think it's a tragedy that if I were to go to England right now, that in London, which apparently I'm going. We'll see if I rant about American Airlines today, but
we'll circle back.
We'll circle back to that. But I'm gonna be in London for a couple of hours for my layover, and I think I'm expecting already that when I go there, I'm not going to be surrounded by Anglo-Saxon native British people, right? There's going to be way more foreigners in there, and I think that's a great tragedy because there is something special, like there is something good in that and special to that Britishness, to that Anglo-Saxonness, in the same way where I mourn when I go to some parts of my city here in Perth that there's just not a lot of white people anymore. When I go into the Perth CBD, right in the town center, and I look around me, and there's like it's a majority brown, majority sea of brown, and that's not an indictment.
Looks at himself.
Yes, even though I'm brown myself, right? But I think it's not an indictment on. I'm not denying that all of these people are still made in the image of God, right? But I think it's a tragedy because Australia is a white majority country. It has been a white majority country for 100 to 200 years. it's those white people who have those. It's their you know, they it is their inheritance, right? That this land was those the white people, sorry, the white Australians of today, the young white Australians of today. It's their inheritance, right? So yeah, I'm very thankful and very grateful that I get to share a part in that inheritance, but I don't think it should be like, while I am a minority in this country as a racial minority, I think it's like I should stay as a racial minority, and it's not going to be a good thing if Filipinos ever become, or Asians ever become, a majority, because then it wouldn't be Australia anymore. It would be something completely different. So yeah,
Mm, makes sense.
makes sense to
So
me.
yeah, that's a pretty good thing. I do think it's also, I just asked some of my friends because I had realized I'd either not taken many photos or lost most of them. But when I went to Dollywood in 2021, and for my senior trip when I graduated high school, and it was really, really cool. And my friends were able to send me some pictures from that. And, it's really lovely.
Mm,
I really enjoyed taking that trip, because we were in the mountains and we got a cabin in the mountains. Did some mucking around, the other stuff, and then was in Dollywood itself for a couple days. It was really nice. We were there a whole week
mm.
or so.
No, that's good. That's good. I think to what you're saying, Axiom, though, I'm now, hear me when I say, I'm going to be very careful when I say this, right? Um, I think there is a reason in the United States, right? Who is it who is overperforming? It's like Asians, right? Asians are like whites are the average, Asians overperform. Um, I'm not sure where Hispanics fit into the picture yet because I haven't seen the statistics, and then African Americans underperform, right? Um, yes, you can cite that as a cultural thing, but as I said, right, culture doesn't just develop in a vacuum, right? Um, there is something to it where it's like the now I do think the evidence against this claim I'm about to make is because you have people like Clarence Thomas, you have people like Thomas Sowell, right? Who are still black, they're still African American, but they adopted the majority white culture, and they were able to majority not white culture, sorry, the majority American culture, and they were able to become very successful in their respective spheres, right? So that is something that would go against the claim I'm about to make. But I think there is a link between race and culture, which does need to be acknowledged. And yeah, I'm not sure how far that goes yet, because I'll have to look into and read more into the arguments for and against it. So I'm going to be very careful. That's why I'm kind of tiptoeing around it, but that's kind of where I sit right now, in terms of race
Mhm.
realism. So um, and that's why I would
There you
just
go, folks.
identify as racially conscious rather than a race realist. So yeah.
Cool.
And one lot,
I don't
I
think I
think.
have anything I really need to add at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, that's all good. No, I know you haven't. We were about to talk about something completely different,
I'll have to
Strife.
talk
So
about,
I
yeah,
completely. We were about to talk about
God,
insane women. So
that's not
uh,
prepared.
that's
Yeah,
true. That's true.
that's true.
To what you're saying though, Corn Pop. Last thing, and then we'll move on to the Lindsay Clancy debacle. Corn Pop. I think I do agree with that. Yes, I think a distinction needs to be made between race and ethnicities, right? So there is one human race, but there are different ethnicities. So I agree with that. So yeah.
Mm.
The last point from Axiom as well. I agree culture doesn't come about in a vacuum, but it's very easy to show that a lot of black culture is just derivative of previous injustices like slavery and segregation. Yeah, yeah, I see what you mean as well. So it would just
For
depend,
sure.
right? And that's why I would have to do a bit more reading on it. Which is like, is there um would those other factors have result would those other factors really result that much in cultural change. And I would say no, because I think Asians faced, while they weren't in the United States, while they weren't slaves, but they definitely faced the same amount of discrimination. Asian migrants anyway faced equal
You
amounts of
mean
discrimination.
historically, like in the past, or you mean
Yes,
currently?
in the
Yeah.
1900s,
At the
right?
founding of
1800s,
America,
1900s.
yeah,
Yeah,
Asians were very discriminated against.
yeah,
In fact,
yeah.
not just pretty much everyone that wasn't even a very sect.
Mm,
Um, Irish were discriminated against, Italians were
mm,
discriminated against,
mm.
Asians were discriminated against. Um,
So that's
if you weren't like
mm,
almost Britain itself, like,
mm,
you were viewed as not quite the same.
mm.
So
So that's why I would say, because of the Asian example, right? They, while they didn't go to the same extent of slavery, the fact that Asians still today are completely outperforming their, um, white American peers, um, I think there is still like that culture, Asian culture wasn't impacted by that discrimination. You know, Asians were still um, face the same. Um, oh well, I'm not sure. I'm not gonna make sweeping statements that I don't know about. I'm pretty sure though that there would be some parts in the country where there was segregation, and I'm pretty sure I did do a study on this, on Asian Americans in high school as well. I do remember somewhere that they were segregated, definitely in California, where they were, California and Hawaii, where they were most populous. So yeah, is that is that all right? Cool. With that, with that, let's talk about Lindsay Clancy. Let's talk about an insane woman, or maybe not insane woman. We'll see about that. We'll see where chat goes. I think I've got a preconceived view in my mind already. I've kind of been watching here and there the different parts of this case. For those of you who aren't aware of the case already, Lindsay Clancy is a woman who killed, uh, who murdered her three children, right? I think the story goes that she told her husband to leave the house, I think to coordinate dinner, or something like that. And while her husband was away, she decided to strangle her three children, aged 5, 3, and 8 months old. Um, yeah. Sorry,
yeah,
5 years
it's
old,
pretty
3
dark.
years old, and 8 months old. I apologize for that.
Yeah, that
Um,
that would have been impossible for them to all be months old.
yeah, yeah. Pardon
I
me.
think we
Pardon.
understood.
Yeah, yeah. Pardon me. Um, and yeah, I think, yeah, it's causing me grief right now that I can't remember the kids' names, because we all know who Lindsay Clancy is, but the fact that like
Right.
it doesn't come straight to my mind. The kids' names is causing me grief right now. Um,
I
and
think like Dawson's one of them.
yeah, Dawson,
Dawson's one of
Cora,
them. I don't really
and
remember
who's
the
the 8-month
Cora. Yeah.
old? Far the fact that it's
But
not in the description, I'm getting
turn off.
irritated again. Anyway, but the reason why this has come up in America's national news anyway is because her defense is basically saying that she was experiencing postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis, and as a result, she that's that's why she wasn't fully conscious, and she wasn't fully aware of the actions that she was about to do, as she strangled her children, and then afterwards made an attempt on her life by jumping out of the I learned today that the attempt was by jumping out of the second story building, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So
So she's paralyzed from the waist down
mm,
because of it. And
mm,
so that's where it's like it's really difficult. I think she should be punished because the death of her children don't go away. But
mm,
she was clearly in state of mental unwellness,
mm,
right? You can argue exactly how much mentally unwell she was, but we have text logs where she was looking up side effects from drugs, how to deal with postpartum depression, um, hallucinations inspired by drugs, ways
Mm.
to kill herself.
Mm.
All of this in the weeks leading up to this event. But whether she was clearly not well, but she did send her husband away and then strangle 3 kids in her basement.
Mm.
That is absolutely something she did, and probably from the insanity and grief of it, she just tried to kill herself
Mm.
after that, right? And so the kids will never come back. Her life is effectively ruined. Um, and so the real problem is that I think is she needs the kids need justice.
Mm.
And so something has to happen. The fact that she's trying to plead not guilty due to insanity is insane.
Mm.
The minimum should be 3 cases of manslaughter due to insanity,
Mm.
right? Not that she's not guilty, because she clearly thought she was guilty. Otherwise, she wouldn't have tried to kill herself.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I think there was something that redeems it. I don't think we'll react to it today, or else the stream will go on like for a billion years. I watched Redeem Zoomer's take on it, and I think he said it very well, which is we kind of live in a culture right now. Not to say I'm not at all saying as well that we should minimize mental health, because mental health is a real thing, right? We should be able to consider that. You should be able to um, go seek help when you need it, right? It's not good to bottle things up as well. So in saying that, though, I think because of secularism in the West, the rise they've kind of replaced ideas about the soul, sin, goodness, and they've kind of transitioned it to a state where it's like talking about mental health culture as well, where you are not
Yeah,
these other spiritual concepts no longer exist, um, and now it's just your all of your thoughts are it's chemicals in the brain. It's chemicals in the brain, and if we're able to treat that, then you're able to be fixed, basically. That's But Redeemed Zoomer then says and goes on to say that because of that, then we don't actually have we lose our concepts of evil and responsibility and all of
yep,
these other things, which is why it's
that's
an
why.
explanation, right? Like Redeem Zoomer then offers this explanation as to why all of these women now, which we might see today, and react to, all of these women have come out in support of Lindsay Clancy, saying, "Yeah, she's not guilty, she's not guilty," or like, "Yeah, I feel the same way, Lindsay. Like, I feel the exact same way about my children." And it's just like, it's
Right.
because like as a Western society, as a collective Western society, we've lost that concept of
Yeah.
evil. Um,
It's been diminished, and that's the
mm,
main problem is because there's been kind of a centralization towards 2 major things, like globalization generally, and also, like, at least off the top of my head, there's probably a lot more, right? But globalization is one of them, and then the
mm,
other one is moral grayness. There is no objective good, there is no objective evil. Everything is just shades of gray, and what's good for you could be bad for me or could be good for me,
mm,
and it's based on how you feel and based on the situations you're going. And there's no doubt that there is complexities thrown in by the situations of life and mitigating circumstances. That's all true, but it doesn't change whether some actions are good or bad, right?
mm,
And we can know that because we have an objective moral standard by God, right? They have no foundation for any kind of moral standard, and so it's all over the place and completely inconsistent. And you see this in the writing of shows going forward now. It used to be that like morally gray characters would be like characters like sympathetic villains. They would be villains which had good or understandable motives, and you'd be like, dang, that thing that happened to that guy was terrible.
mm,
And I feel sorry for him, but that doesn't justify him doing all the evil he's doing, right? And so he's still
mm,
taken down and framed like he was still doing wrong, right? Now it's like they have that same character, and instead of saying, "Oh, that character is clearly doing wrong actions," but from an like a an understandable frame of mind, right?
Mm.
It's like, who's to say he's really doing bad actions?
That's
Yeah, he tried to kill people and is like okay with like wiping out people left and right, but
mm.
it's like his daughter died and he's just trying to make the world feel, like it's it or it's like they frame it completely differently in the way it's written. Instead of being written as someone who's doing bad things from like a kind perspective, it's like who's to say he's really doing bad things, and that's the problem.
Oh, well, he is doing bad things. It should just be that, full stop, right? Um,
Right,
so
but that's not it. And so that's where I think like Thanos from like Infinity War Endgame was kind of like the very beginning of this, because he had like an understandable motive, right? Or the very end, like where it started changing. He
mm,
had an understandable motive, but everyone was against the idea of killing half the universe, right? And that was his motivation. You could understand why he thinks that that was good to let the rest live, but everyone could denounce him as a villain still.
mm.
And then you start moving towards other characters that will do actions that are definitely wrong, but they never really get a moral recompense. And I
They
just
don't
don't
get
know if that's
consequences for it, right?
right. And I just don't know if that's a trend that's increased in the last 40 years. Because it's not like those characters never existed, but I think it's just gotten more pronounced as we've
Mm.
moved towards a society that defines good and bad by how you
Subjective.
feel and
Yeah,
what's going
it's
on,
your own
right?
subjective
Subjective
feelings.
measurements.
Yeah, yeah. Um, there was a point that I was gonna yap on about, and I'm really annoyed because I've just lost it. So, next time, I'm gonna get a piece of paper so that I write down these points as we
You
go
need
along and we
notes.
don't forget. Far out. Anyway, but the other thing I was gonna, so this is what I focus more on in my video that's hopefully gonna release later today. Um, well, for our American friends, it'll be tomorrow, tomorrow noon, rather than later today. But I think this case as well is really a microcosm into wider gender relations within the United States as well, and in Western society. I think it's there's I think the main reason why a lot of these women are coming out in support of um Lindsay Clancy is because they feel it's a tragedy that they feel the same way, that some of them might want to do the same thing to their kids as well. And for those of you who have seen the TikToks, it's absolutely horrific, some of the things that these women are coming out with and putting out with as well. So yeah, I think as I said, it's a microcosm because um, I was watching an Effective Purpose stream, and he basically posits that the reason why Clancy um, did that to the kids was because she actually didn't like her husband very much. And I say this because this is some other context that I'm not I think you do
Yeah,
need to
she
know
she didn't like
as
her
well.
husband, she didn't like her kids, and she didn't like her life,
Mm.
right?
But the
And I
the
think
other the other
that all comes
context you do
together.
need to know is because apparently her husband really tried hard to try and accommodate for her. Like they
Mm.
did know about these. That's what I was gonna go on. Um, sorry, I'll I've got my point again. I'm just gonna write it down before I forgo I forgo again. Um, so apparently they did hire a nanny as well. The husband hired a nanny to help out in the household so that there would be less load on her. She took a lot of maternal leave as well. Those are the sorts of things that she took. So it's not as if she didn't get any support, right? She's also a middle class woman as well, and I know I say that because middle living in living in middle class America and having lived in middle class Australia for most of the majority of my life now, and contrasting that to the life that I had back in the Philippines with my family, right? um you know, it's a comfortable life. It's a relatively comfortable lifestyle. It's not as if, like, yes, there are struggles. We will all face struggles, right? But it's not as if it's the end of the world. You know, like, and it frustrates me. This continues to frustrate me more about this case because she obviously did have so much support, um, and the fact that she still
Right, and
threw
she
that
chose
away.
not to do it.
Yeah.
She chose not to accept the support. She chose not to pursue those avenues,
Mm,
and she let out her frustrations in
mm,
kind of the ultimate final way, right? And those kids are never coming back. So
yeah.
yeah, it's terrible. And that's why I think like you can't just hand wave it away, especially since that sets a terrible precedence
Mm,
for every future kind of case like this, where they can say, oh, that person was mentally unwell, so that's why he did it. Or that person was antagonizing him, so that's why he did it, right?
and they can't
Or
be
she
held
did it, or
criminally
whatever.
responsible because
So they
of,
can't be held
yeah.
criminally responsible.
Yeah. The point I was gonna
Yeah.
go as well, because the way I try to explain this, so there's a woman I know in my life, who I introduced this topic to, and she was just processing through it, and she was asking a few questions. She also asked about the postpartum depression part, but the way I responded to her was, let's say she does have she, like, that's a real thing. I'm gonna press
It,
X to
there's
that.
there's evidence to suggest that that is definitely a real thing, but
Yes, yes. Um,
we'll
yeah,
table it.
sorry, I'm not saying that it's not a real. I do think postpartum depression is a
The
real thing. Sorry,
severity of it
I'm
or
gonna
how long it
I
lasts,
sorry, I
maybe.
should make that clear. Um, I'm just saying, in this case, does postpartum depression play a role in this? Um, I'm gonna say I don't think so, because she murdered her 5-year-old and her 3-year-old as well, and the whole point of postpartum depression is, like, you have this, you don't feel connected to the baby, right? The fact that um it wasn't just like within, directed towards the baby, and it was also directed to the two other kids, I think kind of demonstrates that, for me anyway, that would be evidence that I don't think postpartum depression is playing a role in this lady's life right now. Anyway, let's say it was. Let's say, yep, she was experiencing postpartum depression. That's why she did it. She experienced psychosis. That's why she did it, right? Um, let's use another example to demonstrate why it was still wrong of her to do that, and why she should still be held criminally responsible. We know in the United States, there are school shootings. Are it's an unfortunate reality that American schools currently face. We also know that for a lot of school shooters, they have a history of bullying, they have a history of depression, they have a history of anxiety as well. Because of that, right? Because of all of those things, does that mean that then all of these school shooters, and I think the vast majority of them, right, they experience poor mental health, the vast majority of them, does that mean they are now no longer should no longer be held criminally responsible for going into their school to shoot it up, kill their peers, unalive their teachers, unalive all of these people, right? No, right? It doesn't excuse it, right? Um, I think a more pertinent example, right, is the example of, like, unaliving, right? Um, we know full well, like, just because someone, and it's hard to say, right? Because, like, I I kind of understand um the state of mind someone can get in, right? To lead to that point that they make the decision to unalive themselves as well. But no matter how hard it gets, no matter how bad the depression gets, no matter how bad the anxiety gets, no matter how all of these, like, self-deprecating thoughts get, is it then ever okay to make the decision to commit self-unaliving? And
Or
the answer is still no, right? Um, I think we can hold a
right,
lot of
yeah.
sympathy, like, of course, we would hold a lot of sympathy, and I think, look, that's probably the problem I have, right? Maybe I do need a bit more sympathy for this woman as well, to really understand, to try and understand
Right.
what she was going through and how
Yeah, I
she.
guess that makes
Mm,
sense,
mm,
right? Because it's usually how people do take it, right? They either just unalive themselves, or you see like a murder suicide type of thing, right?
mm,
It's like they're lashing out, and this seems to be one of those. It doesn't justify what it is, but it's a murder suicide. She killed all her kids and then she jumped out a window, right?
mm. Sorry,
Um.
Strife, I do need to let you know, I don't think you can say the S word on YouTube.
Oh, whoops.
So that's,
Yeah.
sorry. That's why
Gotcha.
that's why I said self unaliving. I'm intentionally
Yes,
saying,
that
so that's
makes more
all.
sense.
Hey guys, sorry. Strife, as he's still new on this thing, on this YouTube thing, so
I'm not
he'll
used
slip.
to
He'll
censoring what I say, like on certain things.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry.
So yeah, that's really um but yeah, like you were saying with school shooters, right? We don't
Mm,
say, "Oh, school shooters were obviously unwell, and so that
mm,
means they don't deserve to be punished to some extent."
mm,
Yeah, that's where I say like it seems somewhat, but like death penalty would be appropriate, but if not that, you know, her life's already over anyway. So, do we need to keep her alive in a prison
mm.
forever? Because like I don't know, does she have other family? Do we know if she has other
Yeah,
family
chat.
um that would
Do
take
let
care
us
of her?
know.
Because she
Mm,
is paraplegic, to be clear, from the waist down, so she can't walk anymore. At least I don't presume she can walk anymore if you're par paralyzed from the waist down, which means she can't get a job and her whole social credit is ruined, right? Because even if she comes out of this case and there's some people, whatever, it's
mm,
like the people aren't going to offer her a job, or tons of people, at least half of people, right, are going to look at her like
mm,
a murderer, well, because frankly she is.
mm,
But that's annihilated her social credit. So
mm,
what is she going to do? Like her life really is more or less socially over.
mm.
Um,
And
so
I
I don't
think at
know.
this point as
It
well, like, look, I was having this conversation with Strife as well, and before stream started. Um, I do pray that, she would come to repent of her sins. Right? It's very hard to see
yeah
that. I think, in my, like, according to my theological framework, right? She could just be predestined to be sinful, right? Um, but that would be my prayer, though, that then the Holy Spirit would come upon her, so that she would come to um she would come to an understanding that she has sinned. Because my interpret, like, I'm really gonna try not to spoil the video that I've got coming out on this, and actually Strife doesn't know anything about it because I've just
yeah,
jumped.
'cause he wrote it in like really quickly.
Yeah. It's a pretty. I think the script is a bit sloppy. It still goes. It jumps around three different ideas basically. And I haven't really tied them very well together. But I think it's a good video still. That I'm happy with. And will be released later today. But when I think when the first time I heard her say, like, that was the reason cited, that why um she shouldn't be held criminally responsible um for her crime of murdering her three children, is because it was because of postpartum depression. The first thing that came to mind is that, like, it, as a teacher as well, um you see a lot of kids who will do stupid things and try make excuses for that. I don't want to treat her like a child. um But that's the first thing that definitely comes into mind when she brought that up, which is like, oh, it was my postpartum depression. And yeah, that's not to say, like, of course, like, I've met a lot of kids, I've told a lot of kids who have definitely gone through a lot of stuff, right? They're going through things at home, they're having difficult family lives, um, and that has an impact on their assessments. Like, it's really clear to see it. when you do that. And I've taught kids like that. In saying that though, as much as I am very sympathetic, you know, I don't ever want to have come to a point where that then becomes like a toxic sympathy or a toxic empathy that I have, which then gives this kid a break at school. You know, I want to, as much as they might be dealing with stuff at home and dealing with some mental health stuff, right? I, s- I still push them, right? I still push them to do the best that they can in class and assessments. Um, I think it's in the same case. Sorry, so taking that same mindset in here as well. You know, there's no mental health can't it can be something that is understandable, right? And but it's not an excuse to then do stupid things, right? Um, so yeah.
Yeah, and that's the argument, whether it's premeditated, or methodical, and there's kind of evidence to suggest maybe both. Um,
Mm,
it's like she definitely sent her husband away, assumingly the nurse away, on errand, right? So that she had time. Um, and so that's where it gets a little confusing. Like it's premeditated to some extent. She had um stopped taking certain medications supposedly, but then afterwards, like how do you like guilt from sin then she jumps out the window, but then it
mm,
doesn't explain why her Google searches are about self-harm and hallucinations from drugs and
mm,
stuff, right? So it seems to be that she had a history of not being all right with herself at least.
mm,
um so like I don't know, I wouldn't jump out a second story window if I was just planning to kill my kids and thinking I could get away with it. Maybe she didn't think she could get away with it.
mm.
um didn't care, but yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
good.
don't know.
That's good. All right, cool. Shall we watch some of this? It's a 10-minute video from BBC. Well, I mean, we've got the basic facts of it. So, but what I do want to do, let's see. It looks like it's an interview clip, so let's not watch that. Um, I would like to watch this bit here.
I love the
So,
BBC.
the BBC, yeah, the British Broadcasting Corporation, because clearly
Yes, what else would I be talking
that's
about?
I think everyone knows that that's what we're talking about when we're talking about the BBC.
Obviously.
Clearly.
No, it's always been cool is I've always listened to the BBC growing up because that's my dad's preferred
Oh,
form
really?
of getting the
BBC
news.
World News.
Yeah,
That's really
yeah,
cool. That's
because he says it's more unbiased and more gives you stuff that's not just American stuff or whatever.
no,
So he's
I
always like growing up listened to the
mm.
BBC World News.
Look, as much as I don't like the BBC because I do think it has a bias, right? It's like that neoliberal, you know, globalist kind of
Yeah,
that does have the undertone, right? But I think I
I
do
think
agree.
that's
Like,
definitely
but
part of
compared to all the American news, like it's definitely
right.
way better than I think some of the very partisan stuff that either left or right. There's not really a centrist, um, or something trying to be centrist in America anyway. So.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a lot more neutral compared to the partisans in America, and even the slight perspective. My dad would already have his opinions, so he could draw from the rest of it, right?
Mm.
So
No,
it was
that's
pretty
cool.
good.
That's cool stuff. All right, we have a CBS Boston clip that we're gonna watch. This is some of the reaction and some of the women. Yeah, I think this is. I want to focus the stream. We've already talked enough at length at what she did and you know the whether or not she was liable and all of that. So but what I do want to focus on more for the rest of the stream anyway is kind of some of the surrounding reactions to it. Um,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
which is
because
crazy. It's just extremely polarizing and lacking
mm,
like no nuance. The people who would flock to her support universally, right? And like you
mm,
said, there's some heinous videos of people like saying, "Oh yeah, I'd do the same to my kids if I
mm.
could get away with it." You know,
Yes, yes. Trifecta, the
that's
BBC
crazy.
it has a world news program that airs throughout the world.
Yeah.
I was in the Maldives ages in
Isn't it
2018. Sorry, I'm just dropping podcast lore just
yeah,
casually.
no, please do.
I was in the Maldives on holiday. This was about the time when it was serious. I remember it still because I think I turned on the news. BBC World News was on one of the channels, and it was around this time of Easter, and I remember this because it was there was the terrorist attack in Sri Lanka against some of the churches there, which was very unfortunate. I still remember Pope Francis making that's a core memory in my mind that I can think of. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Hold up 1 second.
yeah. It's unfortunate, like Zaktan, that you are right. Like it's unfortunate because when I go watch the BBC, I would like to see more British news. But on the front of they do definitely position themselves as if they are like it's a global news network, rather than like an actual. Because here in Australia we have the ABC, which is the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, and on the front page it's not gonna world news is on a separate, like you have to go look for world news, right? But the front headlines will always be something Australia centric. I think that is an unfortunate thing for the BBC now, that if I'm looking for British news, I have to click on the separate like UK news tab for it. So
Yeah, okay. So also, what the heck are the Maldives? It's the
Maldives,
Maldives. The
Maldives,
Maldives. It is not the
the
Maldives, it is the
Maldives,
Maldives.
the Maldives.
Are you trolling?
No, I'm not trolling right now. That's how I said it. They didn't correct us when we were there.
Okay. That's not
I
right.
kid you
That's
not.
not right.
I kid you
That's
not.
not right.
It's the Maldives.
It is the Maldives. That's
Luke, you're
hilariously
kind of
bad.
pushing it right now, but that's
Wait, there are two of local news. Yeah, local news is also fun. Yeah, Maldives. Right, thank you, Luke. Yes,
the
it is not
Maldives.
Maldives. It's the Maldives.
The
But okay.
Maldives. All right, let's watch this clip. There's a few reactions that I want to kind of touch upon here. I haven't seen this clip yet, so but I know for certain. Oh, Strife. After stream, I need to tell you about something that there's because
Oh boy.
okay. For context, there is just this like I know there's this epidemic of middle-aged white women who are like just like actually that's not very feminist of you or whatever, like actually that's not very woke of you. It's something that is also yeah, it's funny because it's unfortunate because there are some of these people, it's like the middle-aged white woman problem is, it's not just, you don't just see it in school, you don't just see it at university, you see it in our churches as well, which is the most unfortunate. And I have to, if I haven't told you yet, I'll tell you after stream. Anyway, let's watch it. I'm assuming we'll see a lot of middle-aged white women here as well. So
dressed in pink, hundreds of supporters from across the country standing up for Lindsay Clancy outside.
Okay, look, at least it's just hundreds. I think that's the fact that they're reporting is like hundreds of women. At least it's not like thousands of women coming out and protesting. So yeah.
Courthouse. They cheered as she drove past earlier today. Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Lisa Hughes.
And I'm David Wade. It was a short day in court today, but as WBZ's Aaron Parsegian shows us, the judge told jurors to prepare for a long day tomorrow.
Sorry, I'm gonna ask. That does sound a bit quiet. I'm gonna bring it up just a little bit. Chat, just let me know if it. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
A sea of pink outside the Plymouth courthouse.
I do wonder. Okay, and that's the.
It's hundreds just in this area though.
Yeah.
Which is still somewhat significant.
Yeah.
The fact that they cheer, like that's the weirdest thing. They cheer like she's some hero, right? Like that's what's actually disgusting and makes no sense. Not just we think, she was insane and we should have some sympathy or something, right? No, it's they laud her as some sort of person who, like, as if she did it on purpose, and whether she did or not, but like they don't care. right? She killed her children. She's a woman. Believe all women. Celebrate all women. It's like, what are we doing?
And look, it's intentional as well, because they're all wearing pink, right? Pink is meant to be like this. It's this picture of feminism, right? Your or representation of feminism, and it's disgusting, right? Because it's intentional, all of them wearing in pink, which is they're trying to say that, or they're trying to make the claim that Lindsay Clancy is some feminist hero for doing this, right?
Yeah,
it's
I
absolutely,
don't like it.
It goes to the, we get reminders every day of the evil that is in our world, and I think it's sad, right? Like, I think it's the reason why I think I don't want to speculate on it too much, but I think God allows it to just to show us who do believe him, that it's like, we were also saved from evil as well. Like, it's something that I don't want to ever take for granted, for that we ourselves were evil, right? And I think it's an injustice that has happened here. A lot of these people are kind of supporting it as well. They are supporting, not just kind of. I think God allows it because, like, he shows that his mercy, as hard as it is to believe, his mercy can also cover the sin of all of these people as well. There's a profoundness to that. As I was just reflecting on it, like, I was thinking, as I was reflecting on this case yesterday, I was writing the script, as I've been chatting to a few people about it, and like, as I woke up at 4:30 a.m. this morning, like, I was thinking about what I'd say on stream today, and rehearsing some of the lines that I might say.
I woke up early.
Yeah, it was nice and early. I think there is a profoundness to that there is evil in the world, yet God's mercy that's how great God's mercy is, and how large it is, that it can just cover a multitude of so much sin.
Right. He's very, very kind and merciful and good to us who do not deserve it. And so, yeah, I mean, it's in the same way, all the crowd, right? And the people who are literally torturing him, have mercy on them. They don't know what they're doing. Forgive them. These people don't know what they're doing, and we've been shown a great amount of grace. And, that's why I always strive towards, where I can, empathy, right? And understanding, and trying to see the best intention, or understanding, like, it doesn't justify the actions, but you have to be able to say, okay, like, I see where they went wrong. And if they had a better start, like perhaps I had, would it have been different? We don't know. But that's part of, like, the human experience, and I think cultivating that is helpful. Not to blind yourself by it, but cultivating awareness that we all need God, and then just being willing to be thankful for what God has shown us, and then actually cultivate that, and then go out into the world and use that to be a light for others who need it, to either be encouraged themselves, or as a minister of the gospel, that their lives are radically changed through the power of the Holy Spirit as well. So
yeah. I think I do agree, Zachtan, to what you're saying. If they thought she was innocent, shouldn't they be mad about her being arrested? Why cheer? And Trifect showed the irony of talking about murder while having a Kirby profile picture with a knife. So that's crazy.
Oh yeah, even if you know the context. But yeah,
it's all good.
Anyway,
It's all good.
Kirby has to be careful in this world. He's too small.
Yeah,
people would be if people were after him.
Yeah.
Not joking.
Supporters of Lindsay Clancy coming from near and far for day 17 of testimony.
It's so pretentious as well. Like, they've all got their
supporters of Lindsay Clancy.
See that again? Look at that. They've all got their iPhones out. I can see that straight away. It's an iPhone
Recording
17
it.
as well. So it's just, oh my goodness.
How can we tell?
Yeah, it's an
Terrifying.
iPhone 17. It's right there. It's like it's got the plateau on it.
Okay.
Sorry.
I don't know. I am not sucking Apple's member enough to know that that's an iPhone 17, unlike you. So I think I don't think that's so common knowledge.
I think it's common knowledge. It's a pretty recognized. Okay, you know what? I
think
stand
that speaks to you, bro.
Well, okay, I can
Not me.
recognize when I'm out in public, I can recognize if it's a Samsung, an Apple, or a Google Pixel. I'm pretty confident with those three.
Interesting.
Yeah. And some of the Chinese phones also have a certain profile of it. It's like, look, it's like bird watching, right?
No, I'm not saying that. It's that
Sorry,
he knows that's a 17 versus a 16 versus a 15 or whatever. Like they come out with a new one every year, every 2 years, right? Like what are we doing? How do you know the difference between all of these?
Okay, I think I can tell the difference
Why do you
between
know
the
the
different
difference between all of
iPhones.
these?
I can tell the difference as well between I don't think I'd be able to tell the difference between the individual Google phones. I don't think I wouldn't be able to tell the difference off the top of my head, the difference between the Samsung phones, the Samsung Galaxy phones, because they all look the same. Actually, they all genuinely look the same. With Apple, it's a bit more. There's certain things which kind of indicate whether or not it's an. Anyway, you know what? It's a moot point anyway, because this goyim here doesn't use an Apple phone. So anyway, that's
yeah.
Nancy coming from.
What do you? Yeah. Hold on. No, Apple phones are worse than Android phones. This is a known fact. But okay.
No, I
putting
think
that
he's just
aside,
coping right now.
he actually knows what an iPhone 17 looks like specifically. who is paying that much attention to iPhone's product releases or phone release? Like, no.
Here's
He's the
another
one
one.
with the
Okay,
problem,
look,
not me.
I can tell you right now. So that's an iPhone 17 right there. I reckon that does look like it has the 3 cameras. So I reckon that's an iPhone 16 Pro. And if I had to guess, that's an iPhone 15 and under. It doesn't look like it's got the titanium frame on it, but
yeah.
Anyway, there you go.
Trifecta show. Yes, that's a number of them. I don't think it's all of them, but that's a number of them because they want to kill their kids or their husbands or people in general.
Oh yeah, we haven't even gotten to that. Trifecta show. You are in for a. It's not a treat. It's certainly not a treat, but you are in for it's
an evil treat.
It's a bad surprise. You're in for a shock. That's what I'm here for.
Because it's just not good.
Yeah. Sorry. All right.
For day 17 of testimony in her triple murder trial.
We all relate in one way or another, and
it's just.
We all relate.
What do you relate to?
Murdering
what
her
do you
children.
relate to? And I'm assuming that's her fat ass of a husband behind her as well. It's just like, oh, we all relate in some way. What do you relate to? Please, what is wrong with these people? It's just
Who knows?
Oh my goodness.
Not good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what people are relating to. Relating to strangling. Yeah, relating to strangling her children. No, I mean they're saying they're relating to like her feelings of depression or something, or the power of the stranglehood of mothership, right? Like I don't know. Like that's what I think, and so that means she's just so sympathetic. I would have snapped on my kids too. I barely kept it together. I barely didn't strangle my kids, so the fact that she strangled hers, who cares? It's like whatever. So
Athakori, you're so right. It's not just moral depravity, right? Like, what's the first T in tulip in the Calvinism predestination acronym? Total depravity. That's true. Amen, brother. Amen. Axiom, I assume you're an Apple fan. Like I'm glad there's someone in chat who at least understands the Apple Bowl. Yeah, and don't call him Kirby. It's Strife. Strife. It's that's his. Sorry, I know you guys are still new to Strife. Strife is just
No, it's fine.
That's all.
I don't think we're gonna get copyrighted by Nintendo.
No, we can't. We can't.
It's
You
clearly-
can't be known as Kirby. It's clearly Strife because, like, yeah, okay. I hope Nintendo wouldn't copyright claim us, but it's definitely a possibility then.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Some people may be projecting themselves, falsely assuming that because they in their right mind would never hurt their children, that she must have been out of it. Yeah. So,
I love not being able to customize my phone. I love having my settings artificially restricted.
I can you can customize your phone, right? When I get there to America, for those of you who aren't aware, I'm visiting this man later this year. I'm going to show you all the how I've just customized my phone so much.
Historically, they haven't done it for years. The only reason I haven't swapped out of Windows too is because I'm too dumb to figure that out yet. But I think I'd swap to Linux if I was smarter. So
yeah.
The only thing that's good about Apple is that they consistently work. That's it. Like that may sound like, but everything else they're outperformed by their respective Android. But yeah.
Zaktan, I know you say that sarcastically, but I'm sure I would shudder to think that there may be someone who claims to be Christian here. Probably a liberal Christian, right? And they would come up with that verse, which is, who can cast the first stone, which one has not wanted to destroy the most innocent among us, right? So it's just yeah.
Zam.
No, Trifact show. I don't. Okay, we're gonna. Do I have to make a video about Apple again? Yeah, like I've heard this conspiracy theory before that it's like, oh,
I don't care. Apple phones stop being good after 6. Apple phones stop being good after 6S, and that is a fact.
What about 6 or 7? What about 7? You said 6. What
7
about
was that? 7 was bad. Liking an Android must be proof of total depravity.
That's so good. Strife actually makes me want to be a Calvinist because liking Android. Yep, that's great. That's fantastic. All right, sorry. You
get 120 frames on games. You get 120 frames and
sorry, we're doing it again.
Your crap.
I remember quite distinctly. It was about a year ago I stopped doing streams. I still remember a year ago when I was doing streams, we would be watching a video and then chat would continuously distract, and it's happening again. I'm getting deja vu, and it's absolutely crazy. Okay, let's keep going.
He's getting stun locked by chat. Yeah, fine, we're gonna finish the video.
We're not even 30 seconds into this. Far out.
That is definitely attracting each of us here to support her.
Some even waiting to greet defense attorney Kevin Reddington, who tells us Lindsay was moved by the sight.
I mean, she's still very sad and very attentive. She's very buoyed is the only thing I can think of by all the support.
Okay, so really... I reckon that looks like...
Okay, no, we gotta stop this. Stop.
15,
just play the video.
That's an iPhone 16.
Play the video.
So, yeah, that's
play
clearly...
the video.
And she's got an orange iPhone 17.
Play the video. Play the video.
For the scene outside, it was a rather quick day in court for jurors.
Lindsay talks frequently about her children. She loves them deeply. She carries immense grief.
Chaplain Sheila Kavanaugh, the lone defense witness to take the stand Thursday, recalled what Lindsay told her from her hospital bed just days after she strangled her 3 children and attempted to take her own life.
She said to me as I held her hand to comfort her, "I am so glad my children are safe." I replied,
What?
We're sorry. I keep hitting my mic. I'm so professional. Shall I run that back, Strife?
Yeah. Is the claim that she didn't know she killed her children?
Yeah.
Is that what they're trying to claim?
Yeah.
That she had like completely done it in a completely lucid state.
Yeah. That might be true. I think that it will.
Defense witness to take the stand Thursday recalled what Lindsay told her from her hospital bed just days after she strangled her 3 children and attempted to take her own life.
She said to me as I held her hand to
babies are
comfort her, I am so glad my children are safe. I replied theologically to Lindsay, and I said, Lindsay, your children are safe. They're safe in heaven with God.
Kavanaugh telling the jury
I
Clancy
just think it's just. Sorry, I want to run that back to the picture of the kids
Those
as well. 'Cause
babies are super cute.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sorry,
That's a
my
damn
model
shame.
isn't showing it right now, but I am like I'm not smiling right now. IRL. So it's just I want to try fix that so that I'm not like smiling whenever there's
Because
serious.
cases are more than individuals a lot of times, unfortunately. As you saw this with the Austin Metcalf case, right? It's becoming like a, white-black case when it really shouldn't be, right? But they just tend to do that, unfortunately. The ones that get blown up really big tend to become cases about society as a whole and not just about the individual anymore. It's like it's good to have some social commentary on society sometimes, right? Like you can have that be relevant to an extent, but it cannot influence the outcome of the case because that's when you've profoundly went wrong. You saw the same thing with Kyle Rittenhouse as well, where these really big nationally published cases end up more than about the individuals and what happened in that particular case. And it's like people want to fight for the idea or the society behind it, the extenuating circumstances, stuff like that.
I do think as well, pardon me. I do see this. So I do hold a different view to Strife. I think cases like as much as yes, it's important to get to the truth of the individual case, and like it's unfortunate when that doesn't happen. But because yeah, like that's the whole point of the justice and legal system, right? Which is it's meant to administer justice regardless of what the media say, regardless of what the public say, right? But in saying that, I think individual cases, what I've naturally become are naturally microcosms of greater, society, of what society is. I think what this case really represents is this, it's this breakdown in relationship between men and women, right? It's in gender relations, it's a breakdown in gender relations that we've just seen over the past 20, 30, 40, or however many years, that this has been happening ever since like feminism first started, right? So yeah, that's I do think it's an inevitability for cases to blow up like this because they are microcosms of wider societal trends. The fact that a lot of women, I think it just goes to show that there's a lot of women who have a hatred for what is traditional, right? It's this the family, right? The family unit for children, right?
Right. And they'll have all this empathy for her, but no empathy for her babies that literally aren't here anymore.
Yeah, this is I'm stealing this from Effective Purposes stream. I need to find the guy's name again so I actually remember it. But on stream, he was talking about like if she had killed 3 puppies, none of these women would like her very much.
That's so bad.
And it's just
Is that, I hate to think that might be true.
that because I saying that like chat, I want to know what you think, right? Because if I genuinely think if she killed 3 puppies, none of these women would be supporting her. If she killed 3 kittens,
Like that whole thing makes me really mad because
yeah,
I really, with every charity in my heart, want to believe that not to be true.
yeah,
But there's a twinge of a thought that maybe these people do have more empathy for dogs than for children. And it's
And
like
and
that
the
pisses me off.
yeah, the other thing I will say as well, I think because these kids are a bit younger as well, I'd hate to think this to be true. I think I would like to think about what if these kids were older, right? Closer to 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Would they have the same amount of sympathy or empathy for her? The reason I say that is because, again, like, this is one of the consequences of abortion culture, right? Which is, do these women even see these kids as human, right? Because it does something. It does something to it surely does something to the human psyche when you continuously tell yourself that it's just a parasite, it's just a clump of cells, it's just like, it's not a baby, it's not out of the womb yet. It does something to I'm sure it does, right? Because would that then extend to these children here as well, which that's why they don't have as much empathy for the kids, because they're like, yeah, I don't see that. That's just like that is a parasite, that is a clump of cells. I would hate to think that. And I think it would be an interesting case as well if these kids were older. Maybe these women wouldn't have as much sympathy because they then see those kids as more human. But even, it's just, there's so many things going on, and I don't want to speculate on what ifs either, because we don't live in what ifs. We live in a world of where things like this
Yeah.
happen. So, yeah.
And agreed. One person's life is of more value than all puppies on Earth, which some people would say is a crazy statement, but it's a true
Puppies
statement if
aren't
we
made in the
believe
image of God.
humans are substantively different, yes,
Yeah.
than all other animals or all other creatures. Humans have something that is substantively different, being the imago Dei and being the conscious creation, right? That God put into us, that we have like moral consciousness. No other creature has that. No other creature is made in his image. So we are so meaningfully substantive. That's why I never liked calling humans animals. It's like, even if you want to argue that's like technically correct in some sense, because I think we are so dissimilar by our nature of being this hylomorphic being of body and soul, where all other animals are merely this body with no rational thought. We have a moral consciousness and a soul, right? And we're made in the image of God, which makes us so meaningfully separate from animals that I think it's a disgrace to call us animals.
No, I think it's I'll go further than that. It's gay communist globalism that's trying to, and gay communist globalist secularism, which tries to take God out of the equation, right? It tries to emphasize. You see a lot of scientists do this, right? Which is like, I think Stephen Hawkins once said that we are simply insignificant in the context of the universe. We are simply biological scum on an insignificant rock. I think that's the quote he once said. No, we aren't. Like, we are made in the image
Not
of
at
God.
all.
Of course, I am saying this from biased perspective, because I'm a prolific eater of dogs. So that's probably why I don't have
Obviously.
much sympathy.
Yeah.
It's just-
So that's the other thing. Axiom, I am not a vegan. Sorry. I don't think that we shouldn't not care about animals to some extent. But yeah, just again, they're so meaningfully different, and we were given them for our purposes, right? To rule over. That means we shouldn't abuse animals, ideally, right? But that doesn't mean I'm not going to eat animals or animal products, right? I don't think there's a moral issue, because they are just so substantively different than a human being, right? Animals don't have souls.
Look, I think we also respect, like, if you have a certain moral conviction regarding veganism.
Yeah.
While
Right,
okay,
right.
I'm not gonna be
That's a
mean to
personal
you.
conviction.
Yes.
That doesn't make it, that all personal convictions are personal convictions. You cannot enforce a personal conviction upon all of Christendom, right?
Yes. And
And
look,
that's
while
why
I
we have
do
some
think
level of freedom.
veganism is gay and cringe, I do respect your right to be gay and cringe and to be vegan as well. So that's my that's
I don't think at least I know it's a joke. I don't think veganism itself is cringe. I think it's the people is in the sense that it's their idealistic superiority. They think they're better than everyone else, and they think you have to become vegan, and they try to shove it down everyone else's throats, right?
mm.
And that's what makes people can't not stand vegans, right? So I think that would be
Axiom, so true, bro.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
can't live
I'm
without
not gonna
meat.
lie to you guys.
I
I had a steak for dinner before coming on here, so
True.
think of
I
that what you will
love
about it.
meat just as much as you do. Maybe even more than you, Axiom. I love the taste of it. I love the smell of it. I can't live without
Very
it.
nice.
Can't live without it.
Yeah, including puppy and especially puppy meat,
Especially
obviously.
puppy meat. I love puppy meat. Shall we keep going? Let's go. Sorry, we've got the 3 children up here. Sorry, I just wanted to keep that up there because
Interesting.
it's
Yeah,
we
I
gotta
think it's a
keep it
good
up there.
image to look at.
Um,
Not only to show us the beauty of children, but
Mm.
also to give us a righteous anger that kind of clears away all the other stuff because they deserve justice, right? And the
And we got to
fact that
remember,
people are trying to circumvent it and
these are
people
the
don't
victims,
care.
guys. Right? I want to
Right, these are
continue
the victims,
saying,
not the
Yep.
woman, right? The woman's not the victim. The babies are the victims.
Trifecta. That's
I
great.
thought you were gonna go somewhere.
I just know.
Huh?
My gaydar is pretty. It's been perfected. I know who's the fruity, who's like kind of fruity here. Sorry, I shouldn't. Let's continue with the video before we get sidetracked.
She said to me as I held her hand to comfort her, I am so glad
Also, what's
my
up with this
children
woman's
are
mic?
safe.
I've no idea. It's
Just
probably,
play it. Just play it.
Yeah,
I was just it's an aside.
I replied theologically to Lindsay, and I said, Lindsay, your children are safe. They're safe in heaven with God.
So there's no doubt in her mind, like she knew that she did kill her kids. I think she is divorced.
Yes, the
as
dad
well.
divorced her, and the dad's remarried. To note, this was 3 years ago as well. So it's finally just getting a court case only 3 years afterwards. So it has been like a somewhat significant amount of time.
Kavanaugh telling the jury Clancy also told her about the voice in her head the night of the killings. Testimony the defense is using to bolster their argument she was over-medicated and experiencing postpartum psychosis.
You wrote very detailed notes that are contained in the Brigham and Women's Hospital records.
But in cross-examination, prosecutors aiming to prove the killings were premeditated.
Okay, look, here we go. I'm gonna show this. Because this is, again, it irritates me beyond no end as well. Right? What do those women think about this? I'm kind of blocking it. There you go. It's a female prosecutor. One of the prosecutors is female. Right. So I don't want to hear any, like, it irritates me to no end whenever I hear it, right? When people are like, oh, why are men, it's always men pushing down on women. Oh my goodness, it's always men trying to force women to do things that they don't consent to doing. Oh my goodness, it's always men trying to tell women what to do with their bodies. Oh my goodness, it's always men who are the most judgmental, I note here, this woman here knows, right? She's prosecuting. She knows full well if this woman here is able to, all of those women out there, those insane women out there who are trying to make this all about feminism, this shouldn't be a feminist issue in the first place. So
yeah. No, that's actually a really valid point Trifect Show brings up too. It's like something we just haven't talked about much, but possession, right, or intense oppression being a possible motive. It's or reason, right? I don't doubt that it's entirely possible, or at least partially possible. That makes too much sense when you see cases like this, and it would also make sense of like the fact why she would kill her kids and then jump out the window, right? Because demons just love death.
Yeah.
So it's like, if that were to happen, then that's entirely possible.
Yeah, and I think it's unfortunate if that's the case as well. But yeah, the legal system though, I'll have to. That'll be a good discussion for me to try and think about. Right? If we're able to prove that someone was possessed by a demon, are they still criminally liable for what they do?
The main problem is most people, well, I won't say most, all non-Christians, right, won't believe or take demonic possession seriously enough. But if we were living in a Christendom society and we could prove that, like, somehow someone was possessed by demons and that caused them to kill someone, then what caused them to be possessed could be a valid question as well. But then if they're clearly completely not in control, then perhaps, yeah, I mean, they're fine. If it was not, if it was not them doing it. But that will probably never happen. And of course, it's a hypothetical. So
actually,
it's interesting.
That's a good question you bring up. I think the woman at the side said it full well. It's because they agree with her. They feel the same way. That's all it is. I think these women are making it as clear as possible why they support her. It's because they feel the same way. So Genesis 9:6. I'm pretty. That's the whoever by the blood of man. Whoever sheds the blood of man by their blood. That by man that blood should be shed or something like. Sorry, I butchered it.
No, I know what you're saying. We're the super paraphrased, messed up version.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Well, we'll continue. We still got like 30 seconds left of this video. I do want to kind of look at some of the other reactions to this as well. What's our time now? We're at
I'm chilling.
Yeah, I'm still chilling. I could go on for another half hour. I'm still I'm still pushing it. Look, okay. While I might be a bit sleep deprived, but because I had coffee first thing in the morning, I don't feel at all sleepy. So it might just be the adrenaline in my veins that is still like, and then at the end of the day, I'll just crash because I've also got a late night tonight. Where I'm going, so I might just crash in bed by the end of the day.
Prosecutors aiming to prove the killings were premeditated questioned why the reported voices never appear in any of Kavanaugh's reports.
You've got all these details about her feelings and her thoughts and what she's doing, but nothing about the voices that you spoke of so many times, correct?
Correct.
And the defense is expected to call one more witness tomorrow before.
And this is I think this is the I don't want to say that woman's lying, right? Like, of course, like she's a chaplain. She's giving witness testimony as well. But I think that's a good point that she brings up, that if it would lend credence to her case if all of these things were documented and if all of these things were written down and they were like, yeah, she was experiencing voicing. Yeah, yes, she was. She has a long history of this, right? That she reported on this date that like she was experiencing hallucinations, all of these things, right? Those are the things that have to be there in order to make your case absolutely watertight, because other than that, it's kind of like sorry, I don't want to be mean. I don't want to call her a liar, but that's how you get caught out in a lie, if you're making stuff up and none of the documentation
is the expression watertight over there?
Yeah, watertight.
Oh, we call it airtight.
Airtight. I guess that's so watertight.
I have never heard watertight.
Maybe I'm being weird. I don't think we say watertight here either. It's just that I think I meant to say airtight. It's just that I never learned to say it that way. Anyway, sorry, that's another podcast-ism.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, going back to...
Sorry, you go, Strive.
No, the picture. I was just gonna say the last picture too.
That's the last picture.
There was shown like just a minute before, or like not even a minute, like
yeah,
a
here we
couple
go.
seconds.
That looks
Yeah,
like
it's
someone
kinda
we know,
crazy.
doesn't it? Strife.
It kind of does. I think I understand what you're saying. But
Sorry, I gotta
no, my point
I
being is
gotta
they
screenshot that. I send that to him
screen
later.
and then screenshot that. That looks like a normal family, and that's what's so crazy. You would a lot of times you just can't know or tell until it happens. But then you think, if normal families look like this and we're still capable, or they're still capable, she's still capable of killing her children, then it's like the face of evil isn't actually obvious because we're all capable of
Yeah.
great evil without
Yeah.
the grace of God. A mix of Kirk and Cliff connect. Oh,
Axiom.
yeah, kind of.
No. You
That's
don't know
kind
who
of
are,
yeah.
you don't know who we're talking about. It's
Yeah, no, but I'm still. He does kind of look like
He
that
does
as
look
well.
like that. I'm gonna send him a screenshot. I was like, hey, I didn't know you were married and had 2 kids. All right. There's a few others. Let's see. All right, let me, as I'm scrolling through Twitter.
Scroll through Twitter.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think I
you had some
wanted
other stuff pulled
to
up for it.
send these two
Let's see
clips
some
here.
reactions.
Sorry, Matt Walsh has been on the spot with this, so like sometimes he's I reckon he hits about 60 to 70% of the time. So and then he misses around 30 to 40. So he says here, I would say that if you're a man and your wife
that's
attended
correct.
this event, you need to immediately fight to remove your children from her custody. She is a threat to them and to you, and I don't say that lightly. The problem is that every court in the country will side with her, not you, because women actually have the exact sort of unfair institutional advantage that feminists say men possess, and that's definitely true, right? There's I think the statistic always says like in divorce court, like courts will side with the women the majority of the time. Right?
Almost always.
Almost always. So yeah, it's this it's the myth. It's the myth of the angel woman. It's the myth that all women are innocent. It's the myth that all women are victims, and like the perpetration of sin is never from the woman's side. It's the perpetration. That's it. I think that's what I wanted to like. I was trying to find the words to say it in my script. And the video that's going to release later today. I think that's it, right? It's the belief that the perpetration of sin is always in itself is intrinsically masculine, that the perpetration of innocence, like the nature of innocence, is in itself feminine. I think that's the cultural belief that we see on display, and this is why all of these women I'll mute it. We'll play the video. Like, look at all of these women are like, yep, we all love Lindsay. That's absolutely insane. Where's the love for her children?
This woman holding a baby.
Yeah, does she think that woman who's holding the baby? What do you think she's there? Trifecta, men are monsters. What do you mean? Let's not go into that, right? Oh well, I want to know what you mean by men are monsters, because I don't think
where does it say that? I don't even see that chat.
Is your chat not loading?
Oh, I'm in top chat again.
Yeah, you're in. It needs to be live chat. Sorry. Look.
Why does it default to that?
Yeah, it defaults to top chat. Yeah, you have to change it to live chat every time.
Yeah, Trifecta is probably no, let me put words in your mouth, but I think he's being sarcastic.
Oh, okay.
He's joking.
Okay,
right, that makes sense with the context.
My bad. Sorry, I'm a bit cranky right now, and I'm about to go all over the place. So if I apologize if I'm misreading your comments. I'm gonna say though, I think I've lost my train of thought.
That's what I
yeah,
thought.
you were joking. Okay, cool. I was gonna say, look, I'm gonna say this as well. Like I'm not at all denying that we as human beings, we as seed of Adam, We all are products of Adam, and we are all inheritors of the curse of Adam, which is this the sin which is in our lives, right? That's why. So I'm not at all saying that men are like not sinful. Listen to me when I'm saying this, right? I'm not saying men aren't sinful. I'm just saying, right? We live in a culture which has this belief that the perpetration of sin is innately masculine. And this is why it's hard to keep women accountable in our society. It's because people naturally assume, and there's this cultural belief that women are naturally innocent, right? That's looks like a Star Trek convention.
That's crazy. You're not wrong.
I also wanted to show this clip here. I think it's I want to hear what she says, because it's like, so the quote here: "We feel like the system failed her. She was begging for help and no one was there. Husband got a nanny. She got maternal leave as well. She got like all of it. What more could he have done?"
Who knows?
She was medicated. She got therapy. The system failed her. Women the victim, men are to blame. Headline. This is the headline. Mother killed three kids, men are to blame.
True. That's hard.
That's it. Oh man, trifecta.
What
men
was
and women
someone
just
supposed
sin
to
and manifest
be there
sin in different
24/7
forms.
for?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and this is like, it's the different. Like, it shows again that men and women are different, right? Like that just goes to show. That's all. All right, let's hear what she has to say.
System failed her. She was begging for help and no one was there. I don't know if us being here will make her feel any better, but she's living in hell right now.
Just wanted to support Lindsay and just say it could be, one of my sister-in-laws, it could be one of my best friends, and it could be...
Oh no! Why could it be one of your sister-in-laws? Why in the world could it be one of your best friends? Do you think you would...
Everyone's ready to snap at the drop of the hat.
Does it not occur to you
and snapping means killing your children? What are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing here? If this was a guy, like, you know what all of these women would be saying? Oh my goodness, toxic masculinity once again. Look at all of these incels coming in support for a guy. And guys wouldn't even like in every case as well, when if the roles were reversed and there was a guy who killed his 3 kids, literally no one would be coming in support of the guy, right? So yeah, it's just... Sorry. Yeah.
Me. So just here to support.
We are hearing her. We see that she tried everything. And I really do believe that she went into a state of psychosis.
Clancy's supporters call her attorney Kevin Reddington a champion of women's rights.
Oh my goodness. Champion of women's rights. What are we doing? Oh my goodness. A proof against this woman's claim is that most women don't do this, so obviously the system helps most people. For real.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I know you might still be processing strife, so
yeah. Society. No, you're good. As I was saying, it's a societal claim they're trying to make. And because they think they can empathize with her plight in society, then that means her actions are justifiable or something. I don't know. It's weird. That's why he's a champion. Because he fights for the poor, oppressed women who are not getting enough help by their husband or their nanny, or she's not reaching out. And that also is the other thing. What's hard is someone can offer you all the help in the world, but after a certain point, you have to get up and start helping yourself too. You
Amen.
cannot just
Amen.
right. You cannot just have someone pour all the loving kindness and support you could ever want on you, and some people still reject it. Some people walk away for various reasons, but it's usually a result of they refuse to accept it because deep down they can't or don't want to change, or something else, right? And so at a certain point, she was offered all the reasonable help she should be able to need. Then if she knew she was experiencing psychosis, she should have gone and talked more detailedly with her therapist or whatever, and had the nanny watch the kids. Separate the kids from her. If they were stressing her out and driving her crazy, you have enough money for a nanny, send her on a trip or send the kids away from her, like one of the two, you know? Like there was other solutions and other avenues she could have taken to help. And again, if she was just completely overwhelmed, the natural result would be her just ending it herself, right? The natural result is not her killing all her kids, right? That was not like as strictly necessary, because they cannot be so annoying. Certainly not maybe a baby, right? But a 5-year-old, really so annoying and so incessantly needy that you have to strangle her. It's crazy. It's unbelievable.
That's true. That's true. Zaktan, I hear what you're saying. I am sick and tired of hearing about women's rights. When are we going to talk about women's wrongs? That's what I'm saying.
Thank you, Trifecta.
Is she aware of this support, and what does she think of this support?
I'm going to go in and see her right now. I'm sure that she is, and if she isn't, she will be.
What do you think about?
She's so beat up and just so sad. This will really help her, I think.
Like, of course,
Tell her we love her.
Look,
The crowd.
Whoop-de-doo. She should be sad. She should be sad because she freaking killed three of her kids. 3 of her innocent children. 3 of her innocent children.
What are we doing?
She should be in grief.
We've gotten to the clown world part of it.
Out of about 2 to
Yeah, sorry. Like, if you're still just stop.
No,
me.
you're good. No, I'm good with this. I'm just tired of like
Yeah.
like, you know, it's just sad.
300 people lined the road as Lindsay Clancy was brought into the courthouse.
I hope when this is all over that the medical
Dog
field
baby.
gets held responsible for some of this.
What are we doing? Are we seriously taking
Dog
this
baby.
woman seriously? We've got it's just no. There's no. What are we doing?
Of course, naturally. Naturally.
Yeah. Why am I not surprised? Honestly,
Because she tried. She tried desperately to get
She
help.
tried desperately.
And it wasn't there. Whether she's guilty, innocent, it doesn't really matter. 3
okay.
lives
Then why?
ago.
If it doesn't really matter, why? And let's get the children up as well. There we go. Let's get these beautiful babies up there. It's just.
Doesn't really matter that their lives are gone. They're already gone, so why punish the woman further?
Yeah.
What isn't that the whole point of the justice system? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you love her, you don't know her, and none of these women know her.
Yeah. All right.
Nebula, that she should be punished to some extent, and that all the people supporting her and lauding her like she's some sort of hero
They're
are
retarded.
insane.
They're all retarded. It's like
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's a good place to end with this. As I said, I'll be after stream. I'll be working on editing the video I have for this. So we'll go. I don't want to end on a bad note though. So I'm gonna bring this up though because I think it's going to induce some good discussion. I saw
We
the
want
tweets.
something happy.
Yeah, it's not happier. Sorry, it's not a happier note. I think it's a good discussion point though. Or actually, let's focus on something happy, and then we'll deal into this. I think this is really
No,
funny.
do the sad stuff first, and then we can end with something happy.
Okay.
What you on about?
What's this again? Okay, cool. There's a few things. All right, so I saw this on Twitter. It's Okamura. I haven't talked to her much. I've maybe interacted with her once, but she's just put this tweet out. I think it's an interesting discussion, especially for Christians, Christian content creators. What do we do with AI? How do we do with AI? What's the deal? What's the ethical considerations? Does God consider is using AI a sin, right? These are interesting discussions that we still need to deal with, and I think as the world continues to use AI, it's not going away. That's for sure. AI is here to stay, even if my personal opinion is at some point the AI bubble will pop, and all of these companies that are just like slushing the money around and investing into each other, like Nvidia investing in Google, which is investing in OpenAI, which is like investing in Microsoft, and all of this money is being thrown around, right? At some point, that's going to stop. It's going to pop. The bubble will pop, and fast, easy, generative AI will become harder to obtain. But the models are out there. The chips are already made. There's no reason for people to not just use AI. Like my iPhone right now, allegedly built for Apple Intelligence. I haven't seen it very much, but the fact that my phone is able to just at the flick of a switch is able to use it shows AI is here to stay. So because AI is here to stay, then it's not going away. What's the Christian response to it? Do you have some thoughts about this before we read the tweet?
I think generative. I think I mostly agree. I think in like memes, like it's kind of funny, right? Like I've laughed at sometimes it being used, but I think in all other contexts, yeah, it's bad. I really hate it, and if it means memes have to go with it, then I'm perfectly okay with that. So I think like if you used generative AI, especially if it's like a meme mocking AI or something with it, like that's not sinful, right? But if you were to use generative AI to do schoolwork or something that was not allowed, then yeah, that would be wrong and sinful to a certain degree. And using it generally speaking is not smart. It's going to make you dumber. And yeah, the fact that it steals creativity and steals people's art style, steals people's work, and just slopifies it into this thing, and then you try to pass it off as your own work or your own credit is a pretty crappy thing to do. So I don't know if I'd say it's necessarily sinful in all cases. Definitely not. Could it be used sinfully? Definitely, especially with the rise of what it could do to just the prawn industry, right?
And we've already seen that that kind of play out, which is in the corn industry, I should say, where big corn has already utilized it to just spread a wave of degeneracy over the internet. So AI girlfriends as well, all of that insane stuff. My current position.
I don't think it's virtue signaling. I think it is bad. So I don't think it's virtue signaling. I think you shouldn't use it. But yeah.
Look, this is my response for it. So I disagree with Strife here. So at every stage of human societal development, there will be introduced like technological advancements have been introduced in order to take the load off, and there are consequences to that. But because there are just because there are negative consequences to that, it doesn't mean that these technologies can't be used in the right way. So I'll give the perfect example for this, which was there was a belief in the Victorian era that labor for the sake of labor was good, and like I affirm that as well. Labor for the sake of labor can be good, but then they did these weird things where people who were arrested would be people who were put in prison would then just be they built these machines where they would just like tumble and turn a thing, right? They would pick up a rock, go across the. I'm making something up, but it's something to this effect. I'll have to look up an exact example of this happening. I'll put it on screen because when I edit this part. But let's say they would like start digging a hole and then they would fill it back up again, or they would pick up a rock and then they would go across the other side of the prison courtyard, put down the rock, and then they would pick up the rock. And again, because of this belief that work for the sake of work is a good thing. Now, where am I going with this? It's because at the time as well, there were technological advancements that resulted in work being made easier, right? And that means a lot of hard labor, including agriculture, was no longer needed because there were these new machines where you didn't need like hundreds and hundreds of farm workers planting and watering and picking the crops, right? Because now you have these machines that are able to do it for you. You have a plow that's able to make it do easier work for you. So that's an example, right, where work has been made easier or more streamlined in order to increase your productivity as well. So it wasn't bad that the work was lessened, right? It was actually a good thing because there are less people who needed to do those exact same things. I'll get to my point on
there's a
AI
problem with
eventually.
this, though.
Sorry, I'll let me finish my point leading up to AI and then how it relates, right? So after the Industrial Revolution, there's still some more hard manual labor, but you get a rise of this growing middle class because more and more people are able to, they have the time, and there is now the economic incentives to do things like white collar work. So you have lawyers, you have merchants, you have traders, and to the point where accountants, like people who are working not hard labor jobs, but they're working in like bureaucracy as well. That's another growing thing that then transitions us into the information age, where people are able to, if you're really interested in maths, if you're really interested in science, engineering, all of these different subjects, which previously did not have the economic incentives for you to be able to pursue these fields of education. So let's come now to AI. My position on AI is this. I think in the way that I've used it in my workflow, it has made it so much more. One of the things that was really annoying for me at uni, and really it stopped me from making as many videos. And this is how I'm using it, right? I'm using AI as a thing that assists me to make my uni work go faster so that I'm able to really focus on and use my mental load on the thing that I actually do care about, which is the YouTube channel, and using it for the YouTube channel, right? So for uni, one of the things that took like an incredible amount of time was just like trying to look for now again, it can be abused, like there's no denying it, but I was able to increase my productivity by having AI look for different quotes or summarize different things for me. I would still be like, I got the general sense of what this article was talking about, because let's say I'm writing a paper on something, right? And I used to have to like just read tons and tons of articles, and sometimes it wouldn't come up with the thing that I was looking for because I'd have to research more and more and more. But now with AI, I can just ask, can you get me can you read through these? I'm kind of trying to look for this point. Can you read through these to see if they're addressing the point that I'm looking at? And it'll come back to me and say, this article isn't, but these 3 articles are. And then I'd be able to go, and these are the pages which are relevant for it. And then I'd go to the pages which are relevant for it. And there you go. It's something that took all of my day, like 5 to 6 hours, has now been compressed in about 30 minutes, right? And I'd be able to skim over it and get through that. In terms of the channel, AI has been a good fact checker for me. There are some things that I might say in a video, or I might write in a script, and what used to be the case is that I would have to go, I'll have to research this particular thing, and then I would lose my train of thought in the script because let's say, for example, it's like one of the recent examples that I was saying, like, would it be accurate to say that nations existing would be a part of God's common grace and providential will, right? And I was pretty sure that I was correct, but I just needed to double check if that was a correct claim.
Yeah.
I just got AI to look up an article for me. I just double checked if that claim that I made was correct. And there you go. I could easily fact check that, and I didn't need to lose my train of thought. I
Here's
didn't need to go
the
read that article. So,
problem.
yeah. So go on, Strife.
Which is multifold. One, there's different kinds of AIs.
Sure,
Your
sure.
search result AI is not generative AI, though it has its own problems, often with hallucinations, getting sources wrong, making stuff up, and pulling stuff from incorrect sources, which you can all say absolutely happens, and we have evidence upon evidence to suggest that that happens. What is the big picture with generative AI, which is when it creates something for you? It is stealing human dignity, it is stealing human integrity, it is stealing human thought, and then compiling it into it. AI is not like any of those tech which you started the whole conversation with. It's not. It is substantively different than any other technology. It is not just something that streamlines flow. It is something that replaces humans. It replaces the human soul with something that is not, by combining and meshing the works of real humans together into something unrecognizable, right? It is not something that should be lauded, and specifically generative AI is the bulk of the problem, because that is explicitly what it does. It's not like it's searching something for you in a source, right? That's just finding something AI, right? This is AI that is recreating entire shows, or trying to use to create bad illicit content, right? Or other things. It is not something. And on the creativity side, again, it steals human creativity, which is a gift of God. It is, yeah, it is not something that was ever supposed to be, in the sense that it is a fault of a fallen world that this exists at all. We should be doing stuff, and like you said, even so, at what point are we going to do stuff ourselves? AI is ruining the new generation. It's already bad enough with just technology, right? Growing up my generation, just a lot of technology. AI is ruining the school systems, absolutely lavishing it, where people aren't using it at all. People aren't thinking anymore. People are just, AI, tell me the answer to this. And they don't know skills. The kids aren't learning anything, which is terrible. It is all the result of this generative AI and this use of AI generally, with trying to make things easier and more convenient. Maybe you use it in a somewhat, you could say, ethical way, but the vast majority of people don't care, or like, even if it's half of people using it to create garbage, and or worse, it is a net bad. If it could be snapped away, it should be. It's I really do not get the appeal.
Look,
It is not that useful. We have operated society long without it, and the negatives far outweigh any positives that it is. It's not saving people's lives. I have no idea what you're talking about, Trifect. It's ruining people's lives. And again, what makes us dumb. And you see so much writing on this, and so much, even before AI became a thing, that was super duper mainstream. People speculating about robot and the dom. It is another evidence of the attempt of the domination of technology over man. And technology is not supposed to dominate and control man. Man is supposed to harness and use technology. And AI has absolutely the potential and is dominating men, right? And that is a bad thing.
I think to what Trifecta is saying, he's trying to say that, because I recognize there is a human doctors make mistakes, and AI can be used. And note here, I'm always putting forward that AI has to be used in a way that is assisting, rather than in order for it to actually be beneficial or useful, it has to be in a capacity where it's AI assisted rather than completely AI generated from the spot. So I think in the medical field, right, like to what you are saying, Trifect, I need to look more into research on that, but I'm pretty sure it's far more accurate at AI is because it's been trained on all of this data. For example, if it's like trying to figure out whether an X-ray or whether a scan has a tumor, right, and a doctor might miss it because of age or because of human error in the moment, but an AI is more likely to spot it in that sense. And then if an AI spots it,
does that make it good or ethical though?
No, but I think
Should that not exist in the first place?
No, I think if that exists, it has to be with human supervision though. So let's say there's a situation where a doctor is they have to verify it first. And look, I'm not saying we should take humans out of the equation, and that's where the abuse is, right? We shouldn't ever take humans out of the equation. I think to what you're saying though, I do agree that generative AI itself, like the fact that people are using it to create slop, people are using it to create YouTube shorts, which are just devoid of creativity. That is when it becomes like, I agree, but I agree that it's taken out the creativity.
Not in an AI assistant.
It's not an AI assisted thing from that. It's an AI first rather than a human first. If we're using AI from the perspective that it's a human first approach with AI assisting us to increase human productivity, and the examples that I've posited, right, which is like in my case, right, where I do have uni, I do have school, like I do have work at a school, I do have also the channel that I'd like to make videos for. That's the case. That's one use case where it used to be the case where I was just jumping around between three things and I wasn't able to, do good work in all three of those areas because it was crappy work because I was split between three. AI has now enabled me through AI assistance has enabled me to that I'm now able to go to uni and do work there and still do well enough to continue my degree. I'm able to do work at the school and do well enough there to be able to still get paid for it and still provide a satisfactory job to the kids I'm teaching. And I'm able to make videos here on this channel as well and do it well enough that people are still watching all of those things. So I don't think that's why I hold the position that I have, because I think it has to be from like from the perspective that it's human driven with AI assisting as a tool rather than as a replacement.
That should be the ideal, but I don't think that ideal is where necessarily we're heading. And even then, if I could put it all back, I would.
Sure.
But you can't once it's out the box. So what are you going to do with it? You got to find a human-led usage approach and avoid the generative AI. And Trifecta, I have no idea what you're talking about. Behind that, it absolutely does combine people's arts and at least combine one person's art. So like when they were making the Dragon Ball ripoff, right? And I'm sure you've maybe seen this. It intersects with the anime sphere. They have made these like Dragon Ball ripoff things where they trained on his art, right? They just watched, like it just made it watch all of Dragon Ball, and then it produced a fight that's never actually happened, right? In it, except it looks pretty dang close. There's a couple problems and notes, and then they're like, if we can just do this, then what's the point of having anyone animate anything anymore? How much money we would save if we could just train it on someone else, on someone else's actual art or a couple people's actual art styles, and then it can create the anime for us. It's close enough. Most people won't be able to tell.
But to your point, Strife, I think it's a wider commentary on the fact that companies are trying to get AI to generate just like TV shows or books or journal articles, all of those things. I think it's a reflection on the current culture that companies kind of have today, because humans make slop too. They are able to make, it's not just AI that's able to make slop. AI has just made it easier for companies to create that slop in the first place. So what do I mean by this? there may be certain like there may be certain movies that are created for the sake of being created. Like I recently just watched a summary video of someone who watched all 3 Human Centipede movies. I have never watched the Human Centipede movies because it's like, sorry, I'm bringing this up really randomly, but I think that's a perfect example of what we call like human-made slop, because there's nothing creative about it. They're just making it for the sake of being provocative. There was nothing, there was nothing that divinely inspired this movie, I should say. It's not something like other movies which you might watch. What's one that I've watched recently? I think all of the Studio Ghibli movies, right? It was very intentional, right? We know that it was intentionally made. The story was intentionally made, so that. Perfect. There, I'm going to jump off of Studio Ghibli because most of the movies that Hayao Miyazaki makes are all intentional in the way. It's not slop because it's all, it's very creative, and the choices that they're making with animation and story, like it was all there. When he gets his son to make Tales of Earthsea and that other one, which is 3D animated, it's Earwig or something.
You mean Earwig?
Yeah, the Earwig movie, right? Those are good examples of it's just human-made slop because it's people making stuff for the sake of making stuff, and that's kind of where.
Why would you say that? I don't think that that's correct either, though.
Well,
he was trying when he was making Tales of Earthsea. Are you suggesting that he didn't give it his all, or
I am suggesting
didn't give a crap about that? I think that's
because they're not very good
incorrect
movies
and unknowledgeable. Yeah, because he's not his father, and it's not like he didn't try. I think that's a very disrespectful take.
Sure.
To say that he wasn't trying to be creative. That's assuming his intention, when all the evidence suggests that he worked very hard on especially Tales from Earthsea, right? Which is different.
But when you look at something like Tales of Earthsea, sorry, Strife, for interrupting. But when I watch a movie like that, it's like I'm reminded of AI because he's trying to he knows kind of how a story goes, and he's trying to steal different parts of like, oh, a story needs this, a story needs this. It's been a while since I've last watched it, right?
Right.
But that's
the sense that
he
he's
got.
Just not as good as his father, who's very, very good at it. That's more what and that's why Hayao Miyazaki was originally quite upset with his son. Not because he didn't try necessarily, but because he just couldn't produce it to be a quality in which he was happy with it, right? Being his father was happy with it. And so they had a big falling out for a period of time, if I believe, right?
I don't want to dwell on...
Which is different than someone making slop content in general, because we do know what slop content looks like, which is content that they didn't care and didn't put effort into, which is different. Well, if you can tell someone put effort into something and it still came out bad, then you can't call it slop. It would just be something that they misaligned their motives, they misaligned their team, they were attempting to make something good and it came out bad or mid. They still tried. And you can still say it's bad.
I think a better example then for me to raise would be something like Darman videos, right?
Yeah.
That's
I haven't seen anything from Darman in years.
But I think we can both agree that would be like we would agree that's both slop.
I mean, from what I remember, I really don't know what his content.
But it's like they're formulaic
kind
of. They're videos which are formulaic. They follow the same kind of story with the same kind of cliches. And there's not really a lot of creativity. I think we can both agree that that's an example of slop, right? So I think that's why I've come to the position with AI, right? Because all of the different places which are using AI that I'm aware of in white collar work anyway, right? Where they're using generative AI to assist them in increasing productivity. It has been successful because it's still with human oversight. It's still with human. It's just increasing what a human was able to produce in one day has been in a white collar office anyway, was able to be increased as a result of AI assisting and provide, and especially if an AI is trained specifically, if an AI model is specifically trained on certain, if you train a model on a handbook or a certain set of texts, then it can be accurate in that sense, right? I do agree that search AI, like Google search, can hallucinate because it's drawing from a wide range of texts and it's going to make stuff up. But if you're able to use AI, which how I use it, right? I use AI. I've got an AI model where I've just plugged up all of these a very certain set of sources that it's only allowed to draw from. Then it is my belief that it's able to accurately enough and with human oversight, still double checking that it's still correct. It's able to increase your productivity where a video that because again, like my position stands because I think AI is only meant to all technologies are only are supposed to only get rid of like the annoying stuff that makes work really annoying. For me, it's when I am making a video, and the clearest example I can think of, right? I'll be writing a script to a video. I'm in the zone already. I'm just typing, going at it. And then as I'm rereading it, I'm just double checking and thinking, is this line that I am saying correct? Right. Like, is this definition, for example, like I think this was recent in a recent video, right, where I put up the concept of common grace. Is this definition of common grace correct? That I will plug it into AI, and specifically going to reformed people, because my perspective is I want as much as possible my videos to kind of exude the Reformed Calvinist perspective. So and usually when you look stuff up, the first thing that comes up is like your cringe surface level evangelical kind of sources, so it doesn't necessarily come up with the stuff that I'm looking for. So if I have an AI model specifically trained on stuff that is specifically reformed, then I'm able to double check that from that perspective. So yeah, but I can agree with you as well. And let's finally get to the tweet. We've kind of been dancing around it, but here we go. I'll read it out for you. I know a lot of my friends will disagree with me, but I'm so tired of Christians in the VTuber space doing Gen AI memes all the time. It's not a good look at all, especially because it's specifically only Christians doing it so much. If it isn't obvious, I don't like Gen AI, and I think it goes against human creativity. It has also stolen so many artists' styles and work. It is often used to deceive and manipulate people, and it makes brands look cheap and scammy. Human creativity is a gift from God and something that he values. Jesus was a carpenter and values hard work. You're free to disagree with my stance on AI. I really don't care and won't block someone over using AI. I still love everyone. And this is a good position that she's definitely taking. And I definitely don't like AI purists, on leftist AI purists who are like, just block everyone, right? I really don't care and won't block someone over using Gen AI and don't want to argue, but Gen AI is massively hated in the VTuber space and human creativity is valued a lot. So publicly doing these AI memes and images in a space you are a part of is like you're purposefully asking to get on everyone's bad side. How are we supposed to witness and share his word when we often do unnecessary things to anger people and anger the people that need to listen the most? I think Christians should be the kind of people who value creativity the most out of anyone. It reflects our creator when we create. And that is still why, right? I will never on this channel do, like, I will AI upscale something, right? If something is low quality, but I will never, ever, ever ask AI to generate a thumbnail, right? You will never see on this channel, or you will never see a post from me on Twitter that has been like, that's an AI generated meme. They will always be like me going into it's not Affinity. I use Affinity now. Me going into Affinity to manipulate an image in order to create a Bible first post or to create a meme, right? You will never ever see me create an AI generated meme in that sense, right? So again, like going from that perspective, which is usually is the case. And I think I mostly agree with this point as well. But again, I can agree with this point, but still not be an anti-AI purist, where I do still believe in AI as long as it's in a form of assistance as well. Because again, like here's another great AI tool I use. Like, how is it that I'm able to make some of these thumbnails with like the cutouts from anime? It used to be the case where I'd take a really long time, like what I would have had to do, right? If I wanted to create like all of these cutouts of anime girls, right, that you see on videos, is that I would have had to take 2 hours on the one image, just going through and carefully selecting out the image. Now there's an AI tool on Affinity that allows me to just grab this anime girl and copy paste. Now I've got a image. There's still some like cleaning up I need to do on the edges, but something that would used to take 2 hours can now just take, it's a matter of 20 minutes, right? 15 to 20 minutes, just me going around there. And if I wanted to be a bit more sloppy, and like I don't want to be sloppy, I still want that image to look, that PNG to look good. So that's why it takes 15 to 20. It could just take me a click, copy paste, but I don't do that because I still I still value that cleanness in the YouTube thumbnails. Anyway, sorry, Strife.
I guess
You're free to jump in.
that's the final thing. No, it's like it's out the bag. What are you gonna do with it? And so if it is purely a tool, sure, right? You can make an argument. The problem is though, and this doesn't change. This is an idealism argument now instead of a practicality argument because right. So the idealism argument is, it's still bad, right? If I could snap it all away, I would. I can't snap it all away, but the amount of damage it's doing, just again, to the school system, to kids, is really problematic. To people who are going to learn to grow up with this, solving all of their problems instead of learning to think for themselves. It was already a problem enough just with technology generally, right? And normal like screen addiction, but now this is like your screen addiction, except also it's going to do all your homework for you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, is that not like really freaking scary to anyone else?
And this is why, like, libertarians will, I'm making everyone angry today. So I'm making the anti-AI people and the libertarians angry today. I think this is why I am actually in favor of technology restrictions for kids. And I'm open to legislated time restrictions on social media. That's what they do in China. So in China, kids are only allowed 1 hour now of video gaming time. Now, how widely is that enforced? I'm not sure. I'm not even sure how you would enforce that. I'd like to find a way.
Too, though.
I'd like to find a way where it's enforced as well, because I'm pretty sure they also have time restrictions for kids under the age of 18 for social media use as well. Here in Australia,
social media makes a lot more sense, and again, just like restrictions against AI at all. Could be interesting for kids. Right?
I need to temper that by saying yes, AI would be a part of that. I think
the video game thing is actually bad. That's the one I'm not in favor of.
Sure.
Because they're a much more human form of expression and connectivity. And so like they don't have to be. I guess you could be playing single player games, but even then the experience you get from that is not the same, right? I think it's a lot better than most of the things you could be doing with your time and like playing real video games that are helpful. So maybe there's something to be said about some people with video game addiction or certain types of games. But I think a blanket like time limit on that is not nearly as fair. Like we're all lumping it together. Like playing online games with your friends as a source of connection is the same as doom scrolling YouTube or even worse, like other social media platforms.
Yeah.
Like I would rather be talking with my friends or playing a game that like has creativity and sparks interest in the human soul, right? Makes challenges my beliefs or makes me think in different ways, like a lot of really good single player games can do too. So you have either approach, but it's often much better than just social media slop or other bad things that the internet has. So I think
I will say
a distinction there is important.
I'll say one last point before we wrap up for today. I think as well what Okamura is kind of pointing to is it's just this general problem with Christians that apparently Christians are bad at art. And we need to get rid of this, because I think there are plenty of Christians out there that I've seen and met and have seen videos of now, who are now like able to, they make good art. And I think Christians should strive for that, especially for like a lot of guys who are kind of just chuddy. I think you should learn just how to make art and how to draw, and how it's an expression of that imago Deus in you, right? The first thing that God did at the start of the universe was to create, right? It's an expression of what makes you made in the image of God. I think
that's the best argument you make, that generative AI is sinful, right? Maybe not any other AI usage, but specifically that, because it's an affront to the creative nature that is within us, right? That is placed there by God.
Yeah. So with that, thank you all very much for streaming. That's the longest I've streamed on this channel yet. 2 minutes 20 on my watch. Yeah, 2 minutes. 20.
Ever?
Yeah, ever. I haven't gone for 2 hours 20. I haven't gone for this long yet. So I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, wherever you are in the rest of across the world. For those of you on this side of the Pacific, I hope you have.
Wait, no, we didn't do the happy thing. Can we do the happy thing?
Happy thing?
Real quick. You said you had a happy thing to show me. And now we got to show the rest of the chat.
There you go. I've shown.
Let's take a look at
the
this.
happy thing.
Oh, sorry, my freaking Discord is.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
It's so cute. I'm really happy for Asmongold. That's great. She's good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's pretty funny actually.
So with that, we'll wrap it up on this slide because it's really wholesome. So I hope you all, for those of you on this side of the Pacific, I hope you have a lovely rest of your morning. For our American friends, I hope you have a good rest of your evening, and I hope you all take care of yourself. So see ya. Wait, hot mic.
God
hot
bless,
mic.
boys. Stay blessed. La la. Thank you.